Sky Squad, we are back in the building and we got to talk OGs versus the newbies. And what is the genesis of this conversation? Where did it start? I think a lot of it started with the Kenya versus Brit situation, and now it's being continued by another newbie on another show, and that is Married to Medicine. And who are we talking about? We're talking about Letitia Lunsford, aka Sweet Tea. Okay. Um, then we got some Claudia Jordan news to talk about with regards to Real Housewives of Atlanta. So if you guys haven't already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so. Hit that notification bell button. Join the Sky Squad membership community. The links are down below. And also, y'all listen, our Thailand trip has opened up. So drop a Thailand in the chat if you have never been, or if you have been, and let the people know what you thought it was like. All right, we're going in March 1st through the 7th of 2025. So you guys have plenty of time. The link is open. All right, the first 8 people, and I think we have a couple of early bird spots left, will get $200 off of their trip. All right. So let's get into the news. Let's get into the tea. Shout out to our friends over at the Bravo Shade Room for capturing Sweet Tea. And what she had to say really about, her thoughts on the OGs on reality TV. There's a quote that's pulled from it that says, some of them are company men. They barely share their lives, and their honesty is just giving the newbies HE double hockey sticks. All right, so she's really wanting you guys to give the newbies a chance. And I know that some of you guys will not agree with this because she may not be your favorite person, likely because she, again, suffers from what most newbies suffer from, is that we don't really know them that well, so we don't necessarily always listen to what they're saying with an objective ear. So I would just encourage you to listen with an objective ear, all right? Because there are some points that I think that she does make.
So I just want to get on here real quick and just kind of give my thoughts about Real Housewives of Atlanta and the things that have been going on. Not really with just Real Housewives of Atlanta, but also just in general with reality TV. Like reality TV has changed so much. And a lot of you guys are not really getting with the Candies, the Kenya Moores and stuff like that. Like, I got it, which is fine. It's great that you guys support them. But also, I think that you guys, some of the things that I've seen online and seen on social media is that, like, oh, Real Housewives of Atlanta is doomed. The newbies can never, and all that. Like, at this point, y'all got to remember that the OGs were new at one point coming into a.
So I think listen, I know that some people will be instantly put off because she mentioned Kenya and Candy in the beginning. But again, I would like for you to listen to it with an objective ear. When Kenya first came onto the show, there were a lot of people who ultimately found her to be, quote unquote, the villain, right? So a lot of people did not like her in the beginning, but a lot of people grew to love her because of the energy that she brought to the show, right? So it is kind of true what she's saying. You got to give people a chance. I know it's very difficult too because they're new, right? We don't know who they are. We haven't warmed up to them yet. So it is a very difficult thing. So I'm going to continue on.
A group and probably didn't know each other that well either. And they got to get to know each other. And, that they're newbies realize they're fresh, they're authentic. They never did reality TV. So you're getting the raw. Realize with some of the OGs that have been recycled, some of them I will say they are authentic. Some of
not recycled. Now, I wonder who she's talking about. Is she just talking about the OGs that come back, or is she talking about OGs that have left and come back? Like, oh, I don't know, maybe a Phaedra or somebody like that. Because we know Phaedra don't give us nothing. We love Phaedra for different things, right? She's got great one-liners. She was amazing on Traders. But on a show where the focus is your real life, we just don't seem to get a lot of that from her. And that's unfortunate.
Of them still stay genuine. They're unrehearsed, but some company men. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of them are company men. Let's just be real. You don't even know what's going on with them. You barely know. They barely share their lives, and they're just honestly just giving the newbies hell.
Now, I wonder. Who is she talking about there that's just giving the newbies HE double hockey sticks? Who do y'all think she's talking about?
And I mean, if that's what you like to see, great. But realize that newbies coming in, they're giving you authentic. They've never been through anything like this. So like I enjoy watching real authentic TV. But
now this is the part where I specifically agree. And while I don't think that this holds true for all newbies, because I can go back and I can look at some newbies that just fell very flat. But I can definitely say the great thing about Sweet Tea herself. So I think she can really only speak for herself in this instance, and maybe a few others. I feel like Sweet Tea came in, did not know what was going on, didn't know up from down in this reality TV world. And that made for great television because everybody else around her seemed to know what was going on except for her.
But some of the OGs, they've been doing it. They've been doing it for years, 10, 15 years, some 20, you know. Some of them are they know what they're doing, you know, at this point. And it's not fair sometimes with newbies coming into a group that's seasoned and also rehearsed and probably, you know, already thought of what they're gonna do, realize the storylines are kind of whack, they falling flat. It's getting a little stale, it's getting a little boring. That's just me. That's just what I'm saying. That's what I see. I'm not saying that.
Now, there's a part of me that definitely agrees with her when she's talking about how, like, you know, some of the people that's been on the shows for a long time, they can feel a little stale if they're not constantly doing something exciting. But I think that could also be made as an argument for people who are pro Kenya, and to take it back is that she, at least in most instances, seems to try to make it exciting. But then again, there's the line of what's exciting, what is exciting us in this day and time, right? Because, you know, that could be argued that I wouldn't necessarily want to necessarily see somebody, you know, unveiling these posters of this new cast member in this compromising position. I don't think that I would be as necessarily as excited by that. Shocked, bewildered, and aghast, maybe, but you know, I don't know. And then what? Now that I'm thinking about it, if I was working that day, if this happened, we're gonna put the alleged badge up here. If this happened that day, let me ask y'all in the chat. Okay, let's be real. Let's say you showed up to work that day. Let's say you the PA, right? You the PA, you the production assistant on set that day. You know, you got big dreams of being big wheels keep on turning. Keep on burning. Let's say you are the production assistant, okay? You come into work that day, first day of work. Oh, we got the Kenya Moore hair care. Kenya Moore hair care. Kenya Moore hair care. Is there going to be a marching band? I don't know. So I get to work. I come in. I put my little headset on because I'm about to be, I'm ready to go get somebody's coffee or something like that. Or whatever I got to do, hold a camera, be a grip, you know, put somebody's mic on, double tape some stuff inside somebody's dress or something like that, you know, because the mic got to go in sometimes, you know, in the back and the front, the back, up in the middle, in the back to the middle, back, you know, so you just never know what you're going to have to do, right? So you the production assistant, you come in to work, you prepare to film some scenes with some housewives. You're, oh my God, this is Kenya Moore hair care. So you get there and everything is happening and people are having conversations and stuff like that. Confrontations are going down. Brittany allegedly comes and, you know, they have a little Ponderosa conversation. It goes well or it doesn't. I don't know. Who knows what happens? Next thing you know, you are standing there and boom. Okay. You see photos that you had not expected to see that day. What are you gonna do? Are you still is that your last day at work, or is this a new beginning for you? Woo, anyway,
that's with all the OGs, but that is with some. So all this talk about like the newbies can never and all that, give these people a chance. You know, give these folks a chance. Them OGs were new at one point and they gave y'all a show. Newbies can come in and give y'all a show. There's plenty of reality shows out there that they phase out every season and bring in new people. And y'all watch it every damn time.
I mean, that's true. We think about shows like The Circle. We think about shows like The Ultimatum. That ultimatum South Africa, y'all kept telling me about that, and that just took me clean out.
Every damn time you watching it. So all I'm saying is just relax. Allow these people to come in, do their job, get to know each other, and see, will friendships derive? Will friendships emerge? Like, will people fall out? Yeah, I'm sure. But like, that's the type of TV I like. You know what I'm saying? I like the old reality. I enjoyed the flavor of love. Like, this hilarious, hilarious back then. You know, Bad Girls Club back then. It was hilarious. I never really watched the Real Housewives franchises. I knew of them, especially some of the women of color. Of course, I knew about some of those shows because, you know, those are some of the bloggers would report on them. So I kind of know some of the things that were highlighted. But, you know, y'all just give these people a chance, because it's not fair, especially when newbies coming in to a group of seasoned people that's just preying on them and trying to make their lives miserable. Versus, well, can we really just get to know each other for, you know, who we are? Can we really just kind of see if we can bond real relationships, real friendships, you know, and then, you know, fall out naturally.
I do agree with her on this note right here. You know, I personally just feel like I want to see, I mean, and maybe I'm being too specific, maybe my hopes are too high, maybe I'm still nostalgic about the days of yesteryear where that's what it felt like to me. But of course, you know, we've got to make a show, and so what do you do when if nothing is happening? Somebody has to make something happen. And I feel like when you get to the point where you have to make things happen, I feel like that's where, I don't know, man. It's difficult because something could be said for the fact that a lot of things are being made to happen on these shows. So I think she has a point. I get what she's saying. I do. I really, really do. Some people will feel though that she's too new to be talking, but I think that being new and then having the season that she had, I think I get it. I feel what she's saying. I don't know how that will play out for Real Housewives of Atlanta. The proof will be in the pudding as to whether or not they can still put on a show, right? That's going to be the question.
You know, sometimes we might be able to have some fun scenes. Sometimes we might be some scenes that get a little deep. You know, like, I don't want. That's all I'm saying. Like, just relax, everybody. Relax. You know, and you can still support. You can still support the OGs if some of them want to phase out and they phasing out and they doing their own thing. Support your people. They got businesses. I mean, they should have businesses if they've been doing shows for years and years. They should have some type of business. Support them. Continue to support them. Tell them to build their YouTube channel. Support them there.
Now, here is where I feel the two things. I do feel like two things. Okay, now the first thing is she's technically correct, right? But I wonder if some of these things were also things that maybe Dr. Heavenly told her. Then, but even if that's true, if she's following the advice, then I also think it's sage advice because it is the truth. People may not want to hear it because she is so new, but two things about this are true. One, if you are a fan of Kenya Moore's, you should still be supporting her. Are you buying her products? Are you watching her films? Are you liking her posts? Are you engaging with her content? You know what I'm saying? Are you showing her love? Are you reposting her? Those are ways that you can be showing support to some of your favorite people who are no longer on this show. Of course, we would love to see them back on the show, but I do feel like Kenya will have a space specifically if she goes down that Lifetime movie role type situation and start cranking those out, because that is a space that she has come from, the production world. She's been a producer, she's been an actress. We've seen her this year acting her in a production earlier this year. So I just feel like there's an opportunity in a lane for her outside of Housewives where she can live the life that she probably really truly wants to live and just be at peace creating and doing the things that she really would love to do.
You know, it don't make no sense for some people that be on these shows for years and don't have nothing to show for it. You know, I have an actual real job that I work a real job every day.
So then let me say this. You know, what Sweet Tea is saying here is true as well, but I the actual real job part is interesting to me because I don't know, unless you work for the government and you have, you know what I'm saying, like you really entrenched in the government. And I don't know what her position is, to be honest with you. I really, really don't. I would have to, have more discussions with her to find that out. But the only reason I know about the government is because I know how long some of these people been in that government and they ain't going nowhere. Okay. But I will say that I think somebody like the people from Married to Medicine are probably good examples of this because they also are operating in the practice of medicine and still filming the show. So the requirement there is almost dual natured in the fact that you have to be working in medicine in order to be on that show in some capacity, right? So everybody there understands that assignment. Sometimes, with housewives, it can be a little bit different though, because the premise of the show is technically this idea of what a housewife would be. Now, is a housewife always the homemaker? Potentially, right? So we don't want to discredit the homemaking idea of what it is to be a housewife, because for some people that can be a full-time job, or it can feel that this is what I'm supposed to be doing full time, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? So I want to make that distinction here. But what I will say is that it is typically good when you've been on these shows for a long period of time or any time at all, is to have another source of income. I would say that even for Sweet Tea, as she has a job, okay, have something else, because with the way everything is with inflation right now, you need a second income. You need something else to do, another side hustle to make ends meet, because stuff is so expensive. So listen, when you listen to something like this, I want you to listen to it from the perspective of, what do I take away from this conversation? And some of this is actually real talk.
I'm never going to quit my actual job for this reality TV stuff. Never will I do that. That's never been in the plan. I just will never put all my faith and my livelihood and fall back on some reality TV type stuff, because things can change in just a second.
And many people would argue that things can change in just a second with a 9-to-5 job. Okay. And if you know, like I know, then you know. Okay.
In just a second. But I'm just saying, if y'all need to go support y'all people. It don't stop there. And so like, don't people that shouldn't have to beg for their jobs and stuff like that. They should not have to beg for their positions. That's all I'm saying. Like,
all right, so I don't necessarily know where she was going with that last part, but it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Did you take anything away from the conversation like I did? I just felt like it was an interesting perspective, especially coming from somebody who is new to the reality TV world. And I don't mind hearing it. And I don't mind parsing through what I feel like is super relevant, and then what may not be as relevant to the situation coming from someone who is so new. So I can appreciate it either way. And let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. All right. So the next thing that I want to talk to you guys about is, it's BET weekend. The BET Awards will be this weekend. So, a lot of the stars are in LA, right? And so I was tagged in a post on the Shade Room where they had done an interview with her, with Claudia Jordan. However, and she talked about her support of Kenya Moore, and
right now
I won't play
I was
this
first introduced
specific content
to-
here because I'm not sure where it resides, if it resides on YouTube, and I just want to be respectful of the interview segment that belongs to the Neighborhood Talk, but you guys can watch it here, and I'll put the link in the description down below, right? But just to give you some perspective, Claudia feels like Kenya shouldn't be suspended because others have been suspended for doing, putting their hands on each other, putting paws on each other. When asked about Nene, she felt like Nene got a big ego for this, because she's talking about who belongs on the show, who's good for the show, and she was naming off Candy, Kenya, Cynthia, and she even named Nene. She just felt like Nene, coming from a space where she wasn't like grinding in the Hollywood grind, I guess, in her own, well, and according to Nene, she was. So never mind. I don't know how I don't know what Claudia's perspective of Nene is, but I can say that from her perspective here, it sounds as though she's saying like it's a little bit different because Nene had sort of risen to stardom because of the show and not some outside work first, right? So she can understand how being thrust into that public spotlight and growing so big so fast, you know, could cause her to, it could cause an overinflated ego. But she did feel like Nene was good for the show, so it wasn't necessarily like it was like all bad or anything like that. But what I actually thought was interesting is really this portion of the interview right here, where she says she regrets not returning to Real Housewives of Atlanta. So I think that this is a great discussion to have also, too, because she was technically the newbie. And Claudia is a great example of a newbie on a show that people could not appreciate at the time because she was going up against one of the powerhouses of the network, and that was Nene Leakes. So a lot of people felt like, again, the newbie coming in, we don't want to give her that same amount of love, and I get it. I think it's human nature, to be honest with you. And you may have your reasons for liking one person or another at this point. But I wanted to specifically talk about what she said about not returning to Real Housewives of Atlanta. And she talked about how I'm assuming she meant, and you can play the interview once with the link in the description. But she talked about the next season being invited back, but being demoted to a friend, and because they really wanted the ladies to show their relationships, and at the time that wasn't something that she was prepared to do because of who she was dating. So when they offer her the friend role, she is giving them the exclusive here on the Neighborhood Talk that what happened to her was really that, she felt like they couldn't give her a commitment of days that she would be appearing or filming, right? So if you're at least getting paid for 10 days, right, you would know that you're making X amount of money, right? And at that time, she wasn't working for the Ricky Smiley Morning Show anymore. So really, it boiled down to finances. If she's not being guaranteed a certain amount, why would she stay there? You know what I'm saying? In a city where she's not necessarily really living. And she may have been really living there for that period of time. But my general sense was that, like now she says that she lives in Dallas, right? So the question was, would she come back to the show or did she regret? I don't know. So anyway, she does say now, looking back, she regrets not doing it because Candy has said, if you made such an impact in this one season, imagine what you would have been able to do in your second season when people really started to warm up to you. So she does regret not returning. And she sort of mentions, the Real Housewives of Atlanta doing a reboot of Dallas, potentially, with her in the mix. And I would be here for it, to be honest with you, because I feel like Claudia doesn't mind stirring up the juice. You know what I'm saying? She'll say what needs to be said. Um, Let me know what you guys think. I mean, I feel like Dallas could work again with a different cast in general anyway, because the cast as it was just did not work together. Would you be here for it? Let me know in the chatterization down below. All right. So that is the news that we have for you guys on this morning. If you guys haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell button, hit the like video if you like reality TV related content. Okay. And be sure to check out the source links in the description of this video. If you guys are listening to this on the audio version, I will have the links in the description as well. If you are interested in coming with us to Thailand in March, that is now open. It is now live. We have a few more spots available for early bird pricing, which is $200 off. It is 7 days in Thailand with me. We're going to Bangkok and Phuket. Phuket. So I'm super excited about that. And we still have a few spaces left for Bali. I just dropped a video on my other YouTube channel where I show you how to get cheap tickets for less than $200, round trip international tickets for $200. All you need to do is watch this video if you are interested in traveling with us overseas, but you think that you can't afford the flight. I'm letting you know 100% that you can. So with that being said, I will catch you all in the next video.